product cycle, if you can think of it like a manufacturer cycle, that's where it was derived from. It's the same thing for you as far as how to move from a idea that a business had to an actual real life thing that is a problem or that is what's going on. Then the next is ideation. So that you take it from out of a abstract and start putting those abstracts into something concrete. I would say if we, between ideation and design, you put a research as that's going on. There's also research, and research can easily just mean guerrilla testing or testing, putting it in front of user, whether it's the prototype you're putting out there, just like a regular manufacturer. You know how they take a little version of itself and they'll go do a focus group. Typical non-fluff scenario. He just tell you like a day in a life what it really is, what you learn, what you need to learn to help businesses and solve problems in a UX fashion. It wipes away kind of the essence of academia. I mean, it's there. You're going to need to know the skill sets and all of that. But sometimes especially I've noticed in some of the boot camps now, and some of the if you go to a degree program and all this, they add like the theories and the possibilities and whatnot in it. He didn't do that, and that gave me a more practical sense when I was training and listening to his mentorship. That helped me in especially stakeholder management and like the true how to handle problems that comes up with teams and just the collaboration between specialties or between disciplines. Because it's not just you on a team, as you know, in developing a product. There's product owners, there's product managers, there's development, there's QA, there's the business or the sponsor person, there's project managers, and then you could have a researcher, usability. You can have all those people, and having training after him specifically really helped. Just give me the real deal of what a UX person goes through and how to handle it.
Thank you for that. You were in the beginning. I think one of the first questions that I asked you, you made mention of a product cycle. Is there something that maybe you can expand on that for people that are listening to you? What is a product cycle? What do you mean by that?
Oh, so what I mean by that is a product cycle, if you can think of it like a manufacturer cycle, that's where it was derived from. It's the same thing for you as far as how to move from a idea that a business had to an actual real life thing. But instead of doing it in a physical sense, it's being done in a digital sense. And when I'm saying that, it goes something like, okay, the business say, okay, or somebody, you don't have, it could be even an entrepreneur say, okay, I have an idea. And I feel that this idea can solve this problem. Then, so that's where the idea is birthed. Then from there, every designer process within a product lifecycle is different, but I'll call that the definition phase, where you are trying to understand what the requirements are, what it is going to take to do that. Then from there goes discovery. Discovery goes to where, okay, well, we know what we're trying to do, but what does the users need? Now, I get ragged about it because I get different people do it different ways. Some people put discovery first, because I know with design thinking, discovery comes first with the users and then the business. But I've learned if you swap those first, especially in more corporate settings, it tends to go smoother. And by experience. But to continue, um, discovery. So discovery is just that you are discovering problems, pain points, and it can not just be tailored to users because as it's going on, nothing is linear. It's still you can still find more problems, or as you have a discussion with the business, but that's the essence of it is to just to discover what it is that is a problem or that is what's going on. Then the next is ideation. So that you take it from out of a abstract and start putting those abstracts into something concrete, something, visible. And usually ideation is just like a draft of a architect or of construction. Is a lot of times I always equate what we do to building a house of construction, how engineers have a draft first and then they have to submit that draft, and then the draft goes to, into production with them building it. It's the same difference. Once you get to ideation, it's kind of that start introducing that draft form, and it can be a way of drawings. It can be a way of something's called wireframes, which is just that it's a black and white representation. It's no color. It's devoid of color for a reason because you're trying to focus on the essential. You try to focus on the structure, the flow. It's because you don't want to get sidetracked by color because sometimes color and visuals take people to another place, and it doesn't focus you on what the product is there to do. It's what problems it's solving. So from ideation, then you go into design. Then okay, now comes the color, now comes branding. Now you can start introducing interaction because we're talking about an actual digital product. It just it's not a static thing, So in design, a lot of designers introduce prototypes. Some introduce it in the early stages as well, but usually definitely by here if there's budget. A prototype usually get made where you can actually see how it moved, the button clicking, if a user were to walk through this flow, how that actually looks without writing code. Prototyping is without writing code. That's the key thing about prototyping if you're not aware. Then from design, it well, you want to test with users. You should test early and often, especially I would say if we between ideation and design, you put a research as that's going on. There's also research, and research can easily just mean guerrilla testing or testing putting it in front of user, whether it's the prototype you're putting out there, just like a regular manufacturer. You know how they take a little version of itself and they'll go do a focus group, or they'll run just a little small sample to the market to get feedback. That's what you're doing. And then, so you fast forward design. Design is the final putting it together. And then you test it. The other test is for usability. Okay, how usable it is. We test how viable it is. If there's something that the audience and the market is accepting, but then how usable it is. Okay, are there road bumps to getting to a final result, a final completion of what they're looking to do? And then you make adjustments and then launch, or they call it launch or implementation. And then once implementation happened, it goes to development, and you're still there. Like as a designer, you follow this whole train of thought. You follow this whole process all the way to the end. Then once the development has it, they'll start implementing it. QA is there too, and QA means quality assurance. They call it sometimes QE, which is quality engineer, and they do exactly what a quality person would do. They would check for the quality, not only for the process of the task, but how it's reacting in the back with development. The bugs. Everybody heard of bugs before. When you go to an app and it's real buggy, and you're like, man, did somebody not walk through this, like find this issue? That's what a QA person does before. It typically should happen before a product or a feature leaves